So we need a new story to tell because the old one just doesn't cut it anymore. It's not a good story. The story we were told as kids about what it means to be human. The story basically goes, you're born depraved and sinful and unworthy of God's love, but because of God's wonderful nature, His grace, His mercy, He's made a way for us to be right with Him again. That's a terrible story, right? A story that demeans our self-image. And again, it's a story we were told in our formative years as children. And in a way, it, programmed our little brains with this negative self-image that we've had to deconstruct and dispense of. At least I hope that we're deconstructing and dispensing of it. So the best way to do that, though, is to reprogram our brains with a different story, a better story, a truer story, a story that goes, we are divine beings, beautiful and beloved, cosmic and connected to the source of all being, and could never not be connected, because we are not just that which contemplates the infinite, the divine, and ultimate reality, but we are the infinite, the divine, and ultimate reality itself. That's you and me. That's all people everywhere, regardless of their background. And that's a story that ascribes such beauty, such worth, and such transcendence to us. It's fundamentally a story of connection and oneness, which means it's also a story of love. And what could be better than that? What story could be better than that one? I'm convinced the reason why the church has almost never been on the right side of history regarding social issues is because it doesn't understand or believe in this story. It doesn't believe in the innate beauty, divinity, and worth of all humans everywhere, regardless of color or creed, sexuality, or gender. It doesn't believe in that story, but believes instead in this terrible story that, again, we're born estranged from God, unholy, and unworthy of His love. But imagine for a moment if this other story was the story we were raised on and the story the church told over the last 2,000 years. The world would look a lot different. It would look a lot better, I think. So let's tell this new story and bring healing to ourselves and others.